Welcome, I'm Amy Johnson, and this is the IceCaps Hockey Report Week in Review. This is a new weekly segment we'll bring to you here at IceCapsHockeyReport.com, detailing all of the latest action from the St. John's IceCaps from the previous week, talk about roster transactions that occurred, and take a look at the week ahead. So looking at last week for the St. John's IceCaps, they played 2 games once they got back home to St. John's in Newfoundland, both against the Albany Devils on Friday and Saturday night. On Friday night, they took on the Devils with a slow start, came back and got 3 goals in the second period, which ended up being enough to win the game 3-1 against the Albany Devils. It was a feisty match, though. There were a total of 114 penalty minutes assigned between both teams, and as far as the IceCaps were concerned, both Mark McMillan and John Scott both received game misconducts, 5 fights in all. It was a feisty match, but the St. John's IceCaps did come out victorious in that one. So the following night, the Devils came back into Mile 1 Center, and this time it was a little different. The scoring was heavy. The IceCaps went up 2-0 early on, but the Devils came back with 4 unanswered goals. They eventually were able to even things up and go into overtime, but the IceCaps fell to the Devils 5-4 in the extra frame. I must note that Nikita Scherbak had the second star of the night, had a great night with a goal and 2 assists. Taking a look at roster transactions over the week, it was a fairly quiet week. Andrew Yogan was signed to a PTO. He is a forward. And Morgan Ellis was reassigned to the IceCaps from the Montreal Canadiens early this week. The only other thing that happened as far as the roster went in the last week are the paper transactions that happened at trade deadline day. This was to make sure that anyone who is currently on the NHL roster would be eligible to play in the AHL playoffs should the IceCaps make it that far in the postseason. The 4 players who were reassigned and then immediately recalled back to the Montreal Canadiens are Michael McCarron, Jacob Delarose, Morgan Ellis, and Ben Scrivens. Taking a look at the week ahead, it'll be a busy week for the IceCaps in St. John's. They see Binghamton, the Senators, come into Mile 1 on Tuesday and Wednesday night for a back-to-back series. That starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Newfoundland time. And then Saturday and Sunday, the Hershey Bears come to town for another great matchup with the IceCaps and the Bears. Saturday's game will be at 6 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Newfoundland time. Sunday's game is a matinee, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Newfoundland time. That's it for this week in the IceCaps Hockey Report Week in Review. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at IceCaps Report. That's at IceCaps Report on Twitter. And of course, head online to look us up at IceCapsHockeyReport.com for all the latest news, reports, game reviews, and analysis about your St. John's IceCaps. Thanks for watching. I'm Amy Johnson. Until next week, we'll see you soon.